Hello everyone, this is Colin once again. If you can hear a fan in the background, it's because it's 100 degrees where I'm at, and it's usually not this hot. So for all of us individuals in my area who are not used to this type of heat or don't really like this type of heat, we have the ACs blasting. I'm making a video. Well, first off, before I jump into the topic at hand, this is a video response to Farhan in our ongoing discussion that him and I have been having about a variety of topics at this point. I've put in the more info section down below a link to my blog where I typed an article where I responded to some initial points that Farhan raised and some initial thoughts I had after watching Farhan's latest video, which was entitled Agnosticism and Gnosticism. In that video, one statement he made at the very end of the video, and I make this very clear in my blog post, but I thought I would make this clear here in the video, is at the very end he alludes to something that I actually did not say, and I went back and watched the last part of my video that he's responding to, where he seems to give the impression that I was willing to consider the idea that Jesus is divine, or that everything is divine, or that we are all God, or some variation thereof, of a sort of pantheistic sort of concept. And I watched the end of my video and I didn't say anything like that. What I did say is that when Farhan, in the video before that one, so we're going several videos back now, he made a statement about this idea that, you know, maybe we're all divine, or God is everywhere, or in everything, or Jesus was God, or something to that effect. And I just said that I can't actually make that statement. I don't feel comfortable making that statement from a theological point of view, and I have not done enough reading or lived enough of my life to be able to say that I can believe in something like that. That's basically what I said in the video. I don't believe that. Anyway, so jumping into this topic, in the video, he suggested I watch 4 videos. Now, Farhan, I know you'll watch this video, and I want to say that I only watched, I only watched one completely, which was the Christian Mysticism video, and I tried to watch your debate with Tony Costa about the divinity of Jesus. Now, when I go click on that link, it brings me to Vimeo, and the video just sits there and buffers and doesn't start playing. So I don't know if you've got an alternative link, or if I'm just stupid and don't know what I'm doing with Vimeo. I don't usually use Vimeo, so this is kind of new to me. And so basically, you know, I tried watching it and it wouldn't load. So maybe you can either give me an alternative link, or perhaps you can just sort of summarize what your main points were in your take on, was Jesus divine? Because I'm interested in what you have to say about it, and I would love to have that discussion about Jesus' divinity with you. So having said that, I still have your 2 other videos I need to watch. One from Prof MTH about that, you know, something about that all believers are agnostics, and the other one is, I believe, about Eastern religion, I think, Hinduism. So I haven't gotten around to those 2, and I apologize for that. I've been really busy this week and last week, but I intend on getting to those 2 videos in the near future. So after watching the video where the Christian, or the Catholic priest, talks about Christian mysticism, I have to say that, yeah, the video certainly reminded me of Jung's perspective of saying that really in our lives there are 2 factors that are incredibly important psychologically and spiritually, and that's the objective, something that everyone can observe and understand, or at least attempt to understand, it's usually external, and the subjective, the internal experiences that we have. And life is sort of a balance of both. And I think that's what I was trying to say in my videos, but wasn't really able to articulate it well enough until this point. So I would say that subjectively, mysticism or spiritual experiences, and I'm glad that the priest in the video talked about different levels of spiritual experiences. You kind of got sort of that surface level spirituality that even people who aren't mystics have experienced. self-actualizing experiences, and then you've got the huge blowout experiences that could be considered mystical experiences. So yeah, I would have to say that, Farhan, I do agree that when it comes to subjectivity, mysticism trumps philosophy. Mainly because, yeah, if you have, it's one thing to read about something, it's one thing to observe something, but to actually experience it personally, subjectively, that is a profound experience. And on a subjective level, yeah, I would say that, of course, mysticism or spirituality, spiritual experiences, is what really does a number on somebody, and it's very important. I think, objectively speaking, philosophy is something that people can debate with each other. It's something that are rational concepts that we can articulate and discuss with one another. It doesn't really matter if you've had a subjective experience when it comes to philosophy. It's whether you read someone's account of a certain topic, like metaphysics or some sort of concept such as that, and you think to yourself, does this make sense to me? Do I agree with this? And so there really isn't a subjective experience, I would argue, that makes one feel that a philosophical concept is correct or not. At least that's how I see it. So I still would argue that we need both. And I know there are people out there that don't agree with this. For an example, Ibn Rushd or Averroes was not really big on both philosophy married with Sufism or spirituality. He was heavy in the rationale and the reason and the philosophical perspectives, but he really wasn't into mysticism. And yet we have a number of Muslim scholars and a number of non-Muslim scholars that really bridged the gap between the two, such as Ibn Arabi, as you mentioned. And I have checked out a couple of books by Ibn Arabi. One is some of his poetry. I also have the Seal of the Saints. Talks about Ibn Arabi's views on prophethood and sainthood. And I've checked out like about 8 other books about him or by him. So I'll probably be making future videos about Ibn Arabi when I feel more competent in the subject. So yeah, I really don't know what else to say beyond that. That's all I really wanted to say. That was the reaction I had when I finished the video, was that, yeah, I agree with what the priest said in the video. I agree that the subjective experience, such as that sort of spirituality, is certainly something that is probably more valuable on a personal level when we're talking about external factors that we all can understand, you know, because subjective is purely subjective, right? If I say I had a spiritual experience, that may not be quantifiable to your spiritual experience. But if we're talking about philosophical concept, like whether Aristotle was right about Plato's subject of such and such, I'm just being hypothetical, we can actually argue that objectively. That doesn't matter whether I have an experience that tells me that Aristotle was correct. Even though I'm sure there have been people out there that have had experiences such as that. But I think really separating subjective and objective, I think that's where I'm kind of going with this. So I don't know if you really agree with that, but yeah, so I will be making future videos about Ibn Arabi and my experiences in reading about him and reading of him. And I will get to the other 2 videos. And like I said, with regards to the debate from Vimeo, if you just want to make a video, or you want to send me a PM just saying this is what my points were in the video, I can just work off of that. So it's up to you. So I hope you're doing good. Hope you're all doing well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Almighty God be with you all. Peace.